If you find yourself yearning for more cozy escapes, then you've arrived at the right place. Of all the choices out there, I appreciate you listening to Michelle's Sanctuary. Feel free to take a moment to subscribe if you haven't already, or leave any comments and suggestions below, as I am always here to help you have the best sleep and dreams possible. Fall asleep with this collection of bedtime stories for grown-ups called the Cozy Hideaways. The world is full of so many unique and charming dwellings, and tonight you get to explore 7 of them with continuous, relaxing storytelling. From a tiny cabin in the woods to a cave house by the sea, a bungalow in the Florida Keys, to a resurrected ship transformed into a luxurious hotel on an island off the coast of Maine. Journey through Europe, from a feather cottage in the forest to a chateau in France and a windmill cottage in the Netherlands. Every cozy abode awaits to soothe you and offer refuge from your waking life as you delicately transition to sleep. It's time to dream away. Welcome to Michelle's Sanctuary. I am Michelle, your trusted guide on this nightly adventure. Think of my voice as that of a longtime friend, here to help you feel better and cherish this time for winding down. Feel free to fall asleep at any point, knowing you are safe. Revel in the sanctuary of your room and mind as you set an intention to embrace every moment of coziness that you can. Change any details along the way to help improve your experience. You are the artist of your dreams tonight and every night. To set this tone and come down from the day, feel a wave of softness flowing through your body, unknotting any gripping or places of tension. Open your mouth and let out a big sigh. Make a sound if it helps enhance the experience. Paying attention to each breath in and out helps you tune into your inner life. As you inhale slowly, imagine the air takes on the fragrant notes of evergreen trees, the wet forest floor, and wildflowers on a summer night. Sense the air becoming cooler as a breeze brushes against your face. Open your mouth and yawn if you can. Fake it if this doesn't come easy. Soon your body will respond with sleepy yawns without effort. And then exhale completely, sighing again. Do this twice more, inhaling, maybe yawning, and then sighing. And let your creative mind take you to the coziest space that comes to mind first. Each breath becomes deeper as your diaphragm relaxes and your ribs expand and then retract. Take all the time you need to find pleasure in being comfortable as you curate every soft moment as it unfolds. When you are ready, ease your breath into a natural, sleepy rhythm, letting your body take over. this is where our sleepy tales begin. A tiny story about a tiny cabin. When we set aside our expectations, largely influenced by modern times, we soon realize how little we need to feel cozy and at home. Simplicity can become the ultimate sophistication. Lucy understood this, eventually at least. Motivated by a need to downsize to a simpler life, the 30-something woman desperately needed to escape hustle culture and all the barometers of contemporary success. Each professional and personal milestone only made it more abundantly clear that nothing felt as urgent or desirable as being able to breathe easily and sleep well. She yearned to feel lighter and happy once more, not forced to check off another list of goals that were never really hers to begin with. Days spent beneath fluorescent lights, dreaming of tiny cabins that could be transported to any inspiring landscape, led Lucy to start saving as she plotted her escape. Her childhood camping trips in the Adirondacks deeply influenced her decision to build a tiny cabin and park it along a pine-framed trail overlooking a glacial lake. What began as a personal mission quickly became a shared passion. Lucy initially offered her cozy dwellings to friends and acquaintances who needed to connect with the beauty in nature as much as she did. But eventually, she began renting them out, and year by year, she created new tiny cottages or cabins, each themed to its unique location. Lucy's desire to share her dreamy escapes and give people a place to go where the world felt softer is what brings you on this long overdue holiday. A sense of gratitude permeates your being as you walk through the tranquil woods on a summer evening. The air imbued with the tang of a freshwater lake, the sweetness of pine pitch, and the smell of charcoal heating up for nightly barbecues taking place near other secluded cabins. Pine needles and tiny twigs crunch and snap beneath your feet on a forest floor dappled with shadows from feathery conifers that sway in the summer breeze. The trail guides you around a boulder, a marker that you are close to the tiny cabin. You walk around the bend, feeling the strength in your leg muscles and full expansion of your lungs as you take in the mountain air. Golden hour light bathes everything in a warm, ethereal glow. The tiny cabin, nestled in a clearing, catches your eye as it reflects the shimmering light from the calm waters. The air is alive with the occasional splash of fish in the lake, joining the soft rustling of the evergreens and the occasional sound of a pine cone landing on the earth. You walk to the edge of the lake and remove your sandals to stand in the crystal clear water. Your feet and toes grip a large rock as you find balance, and the water rises just above your ankles. You stretch your arms overhead and smile, feeling the last hot rays of sunlight on your face. No longer do they contain the intensity of summer, as the heat is taken over by the crispness of twilight. Your eyes follow the edges of mountain peaks that jut against the sky as puffy clouds slither by, casting shadows on the lake while reflecting the rich hues of sunset skies on their gauzy underbellies. Paddle boats and canoes navigate to hidden inlets as outdoor dinners commence. The distant sing-song voices of children chatting and laughing, and of adults bellowing for them to come wash up for dinner, carry across the lake. It's a wonderful feeling to have a connection to the community, while at the same time drawing into this special, quiet, and secluded haven. You put your sandals back on and walk up the small hill that leads to the cabin. You settle into an Adirondack chair, placed perfectly to witness the remaining minutes before the fiery magenta sun slips away for the day. This precious moment exemplifies how quickly a summer day passes by and fades into the night, slipping through your hands as you wish to hang on to every fleeting minute. The tiny cabin, constructed from Adirondack pine, gleams like copper pennies in a fountain under the fading rays of sunlight. Its A-frame roof and airy interior, framed by sliding glass doors and expansive windows, offer uninterrupted views of the natural surroundings. A private sanctuary, blending seamlessly with the outdoors. As the sun begins its descent, fireflies emerge, their gentle flickers and darting flashes, adding a touch of enchantment to dusk. The sky transforms into a breathtaking canvas of burgundy, purple, and shades of orange sherbet, gradually giving way to the deepening hues of summer blues. You decide to start a campfire, and soon the crackling and popping of the flames merge with the rhythmic lapping of waves against the rocky lakeshore. You carefully light the charcoal in a small grill, watching as flames flicker beneath the grate. Eager to begin dinner preparations by the lakeside, you step inside the cozy cabin to gather your favorite foods for grilling, prepared earlier in the day. You return outside and place the food on the grill, listening as they sizzle when they meet the heat, and fill the air with a mouth-watering fragrance that complements the natural scents of this Adirondack oasis. Grill marks form as a trail of smoke squiggles toward the sky, and you settle back into the Adirondack chair and gaze out at the serene lake under a blanket of sparkling stars. The sound of waves lapping against the shore soothes you, and you get lost in time, taking on the same fluidity as you rise and prepare your plate and return to enjoy your meal, every flavor enhanced by the peaceful surroundings, every scent leaving an indelible mark that will always bring you back to this pleasant lakeside memory. As the meal concludes, you feel satiated as a wave of contented tiredness washes over you. You tidy up the grill and clean up the area, enjoying every moment of this ritual, grateful for the simplicity and tranquility of this lakeside retreat. The fireflies continue to flicker as you return to the cabin to prepare for bed. Despite being quite a small space, it feels lofty with the high ceilings and a level of organization that gives everything a proper spot to stow away. You step into a beautiful bathroom, adorned with rich green, blue, and gold mosaic tiles that capture a night scene in the forest. The warm water of the shower washes away the day's adventures, making your skin feel silky and refreshed. The steam enhances the sweet smell of the pine logs that comprise the cabin. You dry off with a plush towel that retains this pleasant forest aroma and change into your pajamas. You return to the main room, looking out at the glistening lake that reflects the moon that has now risen high in the sky. The tiny cabin gives the sense of being in this magical capsule in the heart of the woods, tucked in like a raccoon in a hollow or a bunny in a den. Come morning, all these animals will arrive, sipping from the lake as the sun rises, and you will be witness to the quiet beauty as it unfolds. But for now, sleep draws you in, and you ascend the stairs to the loft bed, where skylights offer glimpses of the silhouetted conifers and starlit indigo blue sky, the sleepy soundtrack of cicadas and tree frogs, along with the gentle lapping of the lake, makes it all the more easier to close your eyes and drift. As you settle on the supportive mattress, you feel the day's tension melt away, feeling deep within your heart and soul that this escape to the tiny cabin on the lake has fulfilled your quest and utter need for tranquility. The crisp mountain air that fills the loft will make your sleep deeper and easy to come by. The stillness of this Adirondack summer night cradles you in comfort as you feel yourself settling into its wondrous delight. And you may succumb to the soothing waves of sleep that wash over you with the gentleness of the ripples in the lake. Or you may journey on to the next cozy hideaway, cave house by the sea. Nearly 2 centuries ago, a brave and hard-working man found himself struggling against the weight of his own anxiety. It certainly wasn't talked about back then, when merely surviving was quite hard enough for the pioneering souls who ventured west. And it wasn't something he could outthink either. All that overthinking is what caused him to freeze up and lose all rational thought and the ability to function in the first place. But determined to succeed, as many men were at the time, he seized every opportunity that came his way, only to have his overthinking lead to avoidable accidents. Each misstep eroded his confidence, but none were as catastrophic as the day a mishap with dynamite blew out the part of a remote mountainside by the Pacific. No living being was harmed, but the shakeup was life-changing. The company that hired him deemed the site useless and abandoned him to pay off the damaged land. If he hadn't been so quick to blame himself, he may have realized that the accident wasn't entirely his fault and may have been set up in a way for the company to benefit. But in his moment of shame, he faced a daunting debt. With limited options, he took on whatever work he could find, often performing tasks far beneath his capabilities, but manageable despite his lingering anxiety. He toiled tirelessly, feeling the weight of his mistake with every passing day, until he met a young, brazen woman, patient and kind, who fell in love with a malformed cliff where he camped out each night beneath the stars, the glittering ocean in the near distance. She understood being an outcast like no other, an independent, educated woman who ventured west to explore and learn everything she could. She was definitely not celebrated by society at the time. She was resourceful, cunning, and generous, and her very presence brought him peace. She had a vision for the cavernous hole, always a dreamer. She shared her ideas each night over dwindling embers, speaking of cave homes on the islands of Greece that she read about. For the next decade, the cave house was built and improved upon as technology gave way to new possibilities, and the couple fell in love as they created their imaginative refuge together. The man's anxiety lessened significantly when he no longer had to suppress or outthink it, and his trust in her vision awakened his underutilized talents as he became motivated by passion. The cave house would become a magical getaway, transformed into an enviable vacation home in the 20th century. For nearly 2 centuries, it retained the essence of its founders, with a rock fountain near the entrance, engraved with the words, "Happy is the man who can endure the highest and the lowest fortune, he who, like the rock in the sea, remains unmoved by the waves." Seneca. The cave house would become a symbol of how unexpected accidents could turn into surprise blessings, offering a serene escape and a reminder that sometimes the seemingly worst things that happen can lead to something divine. Without knowing the distant future, one can never quite fully know if an accident is a gift or a curse. But given how many eras of comfort the cave house offered, it was arguably a blessing. Your journey to this unique dwelling begins the moment you are dropped off at a weathered pier, where local fishermen gather before dawn and stay just beyond twilight. Sunset cruises take off from the pier as afternoon fishing expeditions return. Perhaps you travel solo, or perhaps you have a dear pet companion or loved one by your side. With a small travel bag on your shoulder, you step onto the quiet beach and remove your shoes. What a welcome relief it is to wander by foot, free of the constraints of travel by vehicle, bus, or any other vessel that causes one to sit for far too long. Your muscles find relief as they stretch, and your bare feet sink slightly into the cool, damp sand. The fisherman's day is nearly done. As the sun lowers toward the horizon of glittering sapphire waves, the tide recedes, leaving small pools in the footprints you've left behind you. The music of the waves crashing against the shore resonates with a deeply felt welcome, one that reverberates into your bones with its offering of peace, as your muscles experience an instant release. The ocean's persistent sound urges away any thoughts in your mind, filling it instead with a soothing white noise and a reminder of the ocean's magnificence and power. One walk along the shoreline is enough to change the direction of life entirely, as a person is left to question what really matters to them. The sparkling blue canvas, with its soft ivory crests, awakens you to all that's possible, to inner yearnings and long-buried dreams that rise to the surface to meet the sun's reflections. This walk is merely the start of a transformative night, sought at a time when you truly need and desire serenity. As you meander around an inlet, you see the winding stairs that lead to the cave house. Small crabs scuttle away as you approach, and seabirds call to each other from above, their silhouettes stark against the increasingly vibrant and colorful sky. You feel the gentle tug of the sand beneath your feet as water filters through your toes and the sea breeze meets your skin. And in this moment, you imagine the young couple long ago, building the home of their dreams, thanks to a string of so-called mistakes. The sun becomes a fiery orange orb when you approach the staircase that leads to your haven, the cave house. The stone steps are carved into the cliffside, curving their way to a wraparound deck made from local lumber. Lights dangle from the balcony rails, twinkling and dancing in the sunset breeze. You ascend the stairs, one at a time, taking in deep breaths and savoring the misty saltwater air. It's hard to imagine the love and labor that went into creating this original home, but it's a shining example of what the human spirit is capable of when enlivened by a passionate vision and a strong desire to right a perceived wrong. Wild horses run in the surf as you reach the balcony, where a table has been set in anticipation of your arrival. A crystal goblet is filled with pieces of your favorite fresh fruit and crushed ice, with a refreshing sparkling beverage. You settle in a cushioned wicker seat that offers panoramic views of the mountains and sea. Place your bag on a neighboring chair. The cushions mold around your body as you remove a silver dome cover from a serving tray to reveal a light dinner curated from local favorites. A lush linen envelope bears your name in calligraphy, and you open it to find a note from the proprietor that reads, "Welcome to the cave house, a place where mistakes give way to magical surprises. Many come here to stare at the sea and reflect, and as you do, whatever memories are aroused, remember that every moment before now brought you here to what we hope will be the most relaxing stay of a lifetime." A key to the cave house is also nestled within. A key that grants total access to the house for a couple of nights. You take a sip of the welcome drink, and it offers a unique blend of tartness and sweetness, fruitiness and zest. The effervescence awakens your palate as you look at the sunset, feeling the temperature drop slightly. You enjoy the meal before you, savoring each taste in the last orange gold rays of sunlight that are fading fast. Like cotton candy swirls, the clouds take on the hues of coral pink, dusty rose, violet, and crimson. The ocean reflects the gradient of colors in the sky, occasionally interrupting the saturated red hues with dark blue ripples. A movement beyond the inlet catches your attention and you rise and walk toward the balcony railing. Your hands grip the feathery wood, smoothed by salty air and sunshine, as you realize a humpback whale is breaching the waves. The water glistens in hues of amber and crimson way beyond where the whale's immense body arches gracefully before crashing back down into the sea, sending up a spray of golden droplets. The coolness in the air reminds you of nightfall's arrival. The sconces along the facade of the cave house flicker to life, casting a warm glow on the rugged stone walls. You're not sure how much time passes as you get lost in the performance of this majestic being, finding it hard to believe you both share the same planet. But you know it has been quite some time when the air takes on the slightest nip, and the sky is cast in a felty shade of indigo blue. You grab your bag, eager to explore the inviting interior of the cave house. Stepping inside, you are greeted by a main room and kitchen illuminated by skylights that capture the opal light of the rising moon. The rock walls, timeless and enduring, are shades darker than the polished rock floors. Soft, fuzzy ivory area rugs are spread throughout the open concept space, like clouds wafting through the sky. A crocheted tapestry depicts a vibrant tree of life in rainbow hues, standing in stark contrast to the barren red canyon surrounding it. Upon another wall is a blown-up map of the region from the 1800s, next to a weathered illustration of the cave house when it was still a modest home to the original owners. There is something so rugged about its earlier incarnations, depicted through time in sepia photos and drawings. Traces of its former years remain in the walls, but modern luxuries and conveniences make the cave house feel more like an eco-friendly palace than a rugged cave. The craftsmanship speaks of patience and care for this spectacular dwelling that was able to evolve and modernize as time permitted. The uniqueness of the cave house is evident in every corner, blending natural elements and human creativity. A spiral glass staircase winds its way down to the main bedroom suites. Raw gemstones are contained in each step, illuminated with lights below. The cave house is solar powered, and climate control is easy within the heavily insulated stone walls. You descend the stairs into the cozy library and reading nook. From here, 3 short hallways veer off and lead to different bedroom suites. Each hall is illuminated by floor lights in a different hue, from rose gold to ivory to aquamarine, emulating the hues of the sand, clouds, and sea outside. Every room also features a unique fireplace or cast iron wood stove. You take the middle hallway that leads to the grandest of the bedrooms and open the heavy round wood door into a creative lair. Moonlight pours through the floor-to-ceiling glass windows, and you discover a hidden balcony that can't be seen from the outside. A waterfall cascades into a soaking rock tub surrounded by pink bougainvillea. A garden of herbs and dozens of orchids shimmer in the moonlight. You open the doors to allow in the night breeze, and the sheer gold curtains billow into the room. The king-sized canopy bed is draped with curtains of the same fabric, adding a touch of ethereal softness to a room made of stone. Opposing the windows is the candle wall, featuring dozens of candles of all shapes and sizes, arranged in nooks and crevices of the cave. The curves and natural features in the stone walls are also utilized to create storage spaces and a closet. You place your bag on a rock shelf and remove your swimsuit to change into it. Once dressed, you wrap yourself in a lightweight robe hanging on a gemstone hook on the back of the door. You step out onto the balcony and come upon a fire pit, prearranged with wood and a starter that you light. The scents of burning wood and sage fill the air, carried on the ocean breeze. The sky deepens into a lush blue, a shade or two brighter than the darkening ocean below. Stars light up the night, sparkling with as much fervor as the twinkling reflections of incoming waves. You settle into the rock tub, appreciating its warmth in contrast to the crisp night air. Mist rises and lands on your cheeks and lips. You carefully scoot over to the waterfall so it cascades over your scalp, offering a natural massage that eases away the day's tensions. You lean back, letting the water's gentle flow soothe you. The faint whispers of the sea join the rhythmic babble of the waterfall and crackles and pops of burning logs in the fire. You look at the stars and revel in an experience that feels otherworldly, at times primitive, and at times the height of luxury. You imagine what it was like centuries ago, looking out at the blanket of stars and infinite glittering water. And part of you believes the experience is just as awe-inspiring now as it was for the creators of the cave house. During all the years the couple spent building this home, they were privy to the magical scenery forever changing around them from day into night and night into day. And they got to experience it with modest means, camping out beneath the stars, and eventually in the elegance of their completed home. A wave of tiredness makes your head feel heavy, so you rise out of the pool, the water cascading off your body as you take one last look at the vast ocean before you. Moonlight showers the dozens of orchid blossoms in shades of pink, white, yellow, and magenta with a pearly glow, transforming them into a celestial garden. The balcony feels incredibly private and secluded, a perch where you can peer out onto the water without a soul in sight. You look up at the moon, feeling a profound connection to the greatness beyond this balcony, this beach, this planet. You welcome this sense of being part of something vast and eternal. You enter the wood panel enclosed outdoor shower, and you hang your swimsuit to dry on pegs jutting from the cave's facade. You turn on warm water that flows from 3 shower heads positioned perfectly, and clean off with a bar of eucalyptus soap. You taste the remnants of salt on your lips before it's washed away by fresh shower water. Steam rises, creating a mystical cloud overhead that lingers even after you turn off the faucets. Drying off with a thick towel arranged on a shelf in the cave wall. You cherish the contrast of the steam and cool air. You put on the robe to feel the ocean breeze touch your skin through the breathable fabric as you make your way back to the bedroom. The flames of the fire pit are now small and delicate, yet cast flickering shadows and light that loom many times their size on the cave's exterior. You enter the open glass doors into the suite and take a long wooden match from an antique holder bejeweled with rose quartz and strike it against the wall. You light each wick on the candle wall, and the soft glow of each flickering candle adds to the tranquil ambiance. You grab your journal and favorite pen from your bag and settle into a plush chair, looking out on the orchids and the beach. You open your journal, running your finger across the thick parchment of a new page, and watch as the ink reveals your thoughts in penmanship unique to you. The confessions of the night and the observations put to paper take you into a dreamy trance. Every word written seems to lighten your mental load and soften your heart. As your tired eyes begin to droop, no matter how hard you fight to keep them open. You close the journal and prop it on a rock ledge. You return to the candle wall, and one by one, you put out the candles with a gold snuffer. The act feels almost ceremonious. Each tiny smoke trail becoming the remnants of a wish or hope for the night as it unfolds. You walk across the fluffy ivory rug to the bed, pulling back the lightweight duvet and cool sheets. As you slip into the canopy bed, the cave walls take on a copper luster in the moonlight. The curtains continue to dance with the breeze, reenacting the same carefree lightness that you feel within. You feel so safe, so comfortable, and so ready for slumber. The distant sounds of the ocean whisper through the room as you surrender to the night of comfort available to you. You may fall asleep, led by visions of the cave house, or you may journey to another charming abode in the next sleepy story. The Palmetto Hideaway. At the southern end of the Sunshine State lies a dreamer's paradise, an artist's haven, known as the Florida Keys. This string of magical islands is adrift in the aquamarine embrace of the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic Ocean, where the waters converge in the Straits of Florida. Vibrant pastel-hued cottages and white houseboats offer getaways amidst swaying palm trees and an ever-present ocean breeze. The Keys exude an irresistible charm, offering adventure and romance, inspiring writers through time like Hemingway and artists who dare to capture the lush palette of colors from sunrise to sunset. Each coral key, from Key Largo to Key West, is brought together by a 7-mile bridge and 120 miles of the overseas highway, a gray asphalt ribbon of road surrounded by pristine, glittering turquoise water on both sides. Your journey to the southernmost point in the continental United States is fresh in your mind as you begin a new morning at the Palmetto Hideaway, a private teal guest house beneath the shade of swaying palms. The quaint front of the white wraparound porch displays conch shells and dangling sea glass pieces foraged by the owner, who resides in the main house. Wind chimes made of seashells and ivory starfish dangle around the white edge of the roof, creating a soft tinkling sound, joined by the songs of birds chirping around you. Their music has a timbre similar to the steel drums played in nearby restaurants along the famous Duval Street. You sit in a plush chair on the lanai, overlooking the pool and abundant fuchsia bougainvillea that drapes down white trellises throughout the backyard. Bright pink camellia flowers and jasmine grow in terracotta planters, filling the air with their sweet, fragrant notes. As you sip on your favorite morning drink, you notice the reflections of palms and the blue sky on the glass table. Glass tabletops are common throughout Florida, reflecting the surrounding natural beauty and doubling it on every glossy surface. Ripples form on the in-ground pool as the breeze carries a whiff of the sea. The air is tepid, with a faint promise of hotter temperatures to come as the white gold sun rises higher in the cloudless sky. You settle in the relief of having no agenda, simply letting the morning play out by your whims and desires in each moment. You close your eyes and inhale deeply, stretching your arms overhead toward the dancing palms. You discover your muscles are more flexible in this climate. Your hands and arms reach higher toward the sky than they have in a long time. Satiated from a breakfast provided hours ago by Scoots, the proprietor, you feel a wave of contentment wash over you as goosebumps form on your skin from the soft breeze. For 50 years, Scoots has lived in the Keys, welcoming people from around the world to his cozy abode. His nickname came from the locals as he scooted around as a young tyke when the Keys were quieter, and even now may be found on his Vespa scooter weaving around Key West. There's something charming about his energy, still playful and childlike, and fully committed to sharing the beautiful things in his life and in the Keys. Short in stature, his skin is bronze and freckled from the Florida sun, and he wears a loose white cabana shirt and pink flamingo shorts as bright as the flowers in his garden. His straw flip-flops slap against his feet with each step and shuffle, He delivers a canvas bag of assortments for lunch and gestures to a bicycle that leans against a white fence by the pool, available for use whenever you wish to head out. He clears your morning dishes, and when you offer to help, he grins and insists that you are here to relax. Tucked within the bag are some cold drinks and your favorite lunch items, carefully wrapped in reusable ice packs, along with a blanket and towel. It makes you smile to see the care put into the package. You pull out an artistic hand-drawn map with notes from Scoots about a secluded beach and his best recommendations for sunset viewings. You rise to place the bag in the wicker basket of the seafoam green vintage bicycle. You walk the bike down a stone path through the garden in the back of the house, cast in the shade of coconut palm trees, abundant with clusters of virgin green coconuts. A mango tree showcases small ruby pink-hued mangoes, a few weeks away from being pickable, while avocados hang from another tree like green bells. Your nose is enchanted by the varying smells of fruit and sweet earth that permeate the air to create an olfactory elixir, specific and unique to the Keys this time of day and year. You savor it, grateful for the constant arrival of eye and nose-pleasing offerings of Key West. You open the gate onto a sleepy side street where an older woman in a long, billowing salmon pink dress walks her tiny white fluff ball of a dog on the grassy median and greets you with a friendly smile and wave. As you pedal the vintage bicycle through the quiet outer streets of Key West, the sun envelops you in a warm embrace, casting a golden glow upon the vibrant surroundings. Memories of childhood dreams and fantasies about tropical adventures flood your mind. And now amidst the colorful, historic cottages and swaying palms, those distant visions come to life. The gentle whir of the wheels against the pavement accompanies a sense of freedom and exploration. The same sense you may have felt once mastering a bike without training wheels. The salty breeze carries the promise of discoveries ahead, its fragrance becoming stronger as you pedal closer to the ocean. Your lightweight linen clothes billow in the gentle winds as the air makes its way through the breathable fabric and cools your skin. As you navigate the winding, sandy path leading to a secluded beach, anticipation builds within you. The rhythmic sound of the waves grows louder with each passing moment, heightening the excitement pulsing through your veins. Finally, as you emerge from the shade of the palm trees, the breathtaking sight of the cerulean waters stretches out before you, shimmering in the early afternoon light. It's as if time stands still in this idyllic oasis, a place untouched by the chaos of the outside world, carrying with it the long-ago memories of what the Keys were like before popularity loomed. Dismounting the bicycle, you feel a sense of ecstatic joy, mingled with a deep-rooted tranquility. The sand crunches beneath your sandals as you make your way to the water's edge, the coolness of the sea beckoning you closer. With each step, you feel a connection to the natural world around you, a sense of harmony that fills you with a profound sense of gratitude. It's hard to conceive that this magical place exists and does its own thing, all the while you are caught up in the routines and mundanities of your life, sometimes forgetting about the majestic seascapes like this. You scout the perfect towering palm tree to settle beneath, positioning the lightweight blanket in the shade that will stay consistently shaded as the sun moves throughout the day. You take a moment to breathe in the salty air, allowing yourself to fully immerse in the beauty of the endless lapping waves and the sailboats and yachts far off the coast, appearing like tiny white dots along the horizon. You unpack the light meal of healthy indulgences from the bag and sip on a cold drink, amazed at how quickly thirst arrives when biking through the salty air. As you savor your lunch, you notice the curious pelicans and seagulls along the shore. Their playful antics and vocal interactions bring a smile to your face. The afternoon heat begins to intensify, and you welcome the warmth as bands of sunlight break through the palm fronds and envelop your arms and legs. With a renewed sense of energy, you decide to take a dip in the inviting blue waters, eager for their gentle waves and the underground world. You wade with ease as your feet land on a layer of soft seagrass and coarse sand, and then dive into the lukewarm turquoise depths. Fully immersed in this serene place in the Florida Straits, you feel at one with nature in its purest form. Amidst the turquoise waves and endless sky, you encounter the best of paradise. As you glide through the crystal clear water, a sense of wonder washes over you when you realize the things you perceived to be rocks are a bale of sea turtles gracefully navigating the underwater realm. With a respectful distance, you watch in awe as they surrender to the gentle ebb and flow of the tide. their movements fluid and unhurried. Their ancient wisdom emanates from their very presence and their stoic response to an ever-changing tide. These wonderful creatures simply adapt. You continue to swim through the crystal blue water, admiring the vibrant coral reefs below, where colorful fish dart and weave, creating a mesmerizing dance beneath your swift legs. Each flicker of movement adds to an underwater world that teems beneath the surface, a reminder of the intricate ecosystem that thrives in these crystalline waters. As you rise to the surface, the hot sun reflects off your wet skin, casting a shower of glittering gold upon the rippling turquoise waves. You float on your back, emulating the sea turtles, as you allow the gentle currents to carry you, not aiming to control or manipulate your movement. The rhythmic waves lull you into a state of bone-deep peace, and you watch as feathery clouds slowly move in across the bright blue sky. Your chest rises and falls as you breathe deeply, feeling once more a profound connection to the natural world around you, as the rhythm of your breath mimics the ebb and flow of the sea. As you gaze up at the vast expanse of sky overhead, you can't help but marvel at the beauty of the world beneath the surface. Just below you is an underwater world of thriving beings who may go their entire lives without ever seeing the sky and land in the way you do. Time seems to slow down as you continue to float toward the beach, letting the waves bring you in. You realize that this moment will stay with you forever. A reminder that you are capable of being calm, at peace, and completely in tune with the present moment. Once again in shallow water, you carefully stand and return to the shade of the towering palm tree. The warm air feels cool on your wet skin, and you begin to yawn, inviting the opportunity for a brief nap on the beach. As you settle on the blanket, using the towel as a pillow, you drift into slumber. The sounds of rustling palm fronds and gentle waves serve as a soothing lullaby, guiding you into a state of lucid dreaming. You partake in a dance between consciousness and sleep, wafting in and out of each world at your leisure and whenever you desire. In this light, delicious slumber, you welcome the ethereal feelings that come, so free you could float on the tropical breeze to anywhere your dreams wish to go. You lose track of time in this nap that could be hours long or merely minutes. But when you finally stir back to consciousness, you feel refreshed. The air becomes cooler against your skin, and you are greeted by the breathtaking sight of a magnificent sunset painting the sky with hues of gold, cotton candy pink, and light purple. As you gaze out at the horizon, you watch in awe as the colors dance and shift, transforming the tranquil blues of the sea into a magical kaleidoscope of molten pinks, oranges, and purples. Fluffy incoming clouds mirror the fiery brilliance of sunset in Key West as well, taking on rich hues of crimson, coral, and magenta. Each wave carries saturated ribbons of color that blend like oil paint across a canvas. Your gratitude runs deep, and your desire for this moment to last forever runs even deeper. In this fleeting moment of golden hour, you are reminded of the preciousness of life and the importance of savoring each day. As the sun dips below the horizon, casting a warm glow upon the tranquil water, your voice joins the chorus of seagulls and susurrating palms as you whisper, "Thank you." You bask in the afterglow of the sunset, so grateful out of all the sunsets you may have missed. This one you did not. You gather your things and prepare to leave. And as you pedal your bike back to the Palmetto Hideaway, the sky changes once more into a canvas of nocturnal blues, streaked with shades of indigo and violet. The return trip seems shorter with the wind on your back and its familiarity. You return to the back gate and open it to discover glowing lanterns strung across the awnings and trees to illuminate the garden and backyard in rich amber light. An artistic street lamp near the lanai catches your eye with its 3 glass beacons in the shape of pineapples, adding a touch of whimsy to the scene. The smell of charcoal fills the air as Scoots prepares dinner amidst the fun ambiance of bossa nova music playing throughout the patio. With practiced ease, he climbs a ladder to free a green coconut from a nearby tree. He notices your arrival as you park the bike beneath an awning and waves you to come watch him expertly create 2 holes in the coconut with a clean screwdriver and hammer. He then hands you the fruit to pour the fresh coconut water over crushed ice in yellow and green crystal glasses that are also shaped like pineapples. The water makes a funny and slightly inappropriate sound as it trickles, and you both laugh, amazed that there is more than enough water to fill both glasses. Once done, you raise your refreshing treats in a toast to the beauty of the night and the Keys. As you enjoy the savory meal, offering vegetables from Scoots' garden and enhanced by tropical juices and herbs, Scoots regales you with stories about the legendary Hemingway cats that roam the nearby museum dedicated to the famed writer. He mentions the unique polydactyl trait of nearly half of the 50 cats on the property. As if being beckoned, his own 6-toed calico descendant Catherine, whom he named after a Hemingway character, gracefully appears and rubs her body against the mermaid tail-inspired metal legs of the table. You reach down and pet her, feeling a euphoria brought on by the satisfying meal, the gentle night air, and the small changes you feel happening within, showing that even a day away is enough to renew your vitality and happiness. After dinner, Scoots is one to retire early. Together you clean up and bid each other good night. Still in your swimsuit, you are drawn to the moonlit pool, awash in the colorful rainbow lights of mason jar-shaped lanterns strung about it. As you dive in, the warm water envelops you, soothing your muscles and revitalizing your senses. How amazing it feels to swim twice in one day. All of your joints become soft, yielding to the feeling of weightlessness the water brings. In the distance, you hear the chirping of crickets, the songs of tree frogs, and the swooshing palm fronds. Under the rising sliver of a new moon, as faint as the tip of a fingernail, you swim laps with the last reserve of energy, feeling the lingering warmth of the sun's radiation in your skin and muscles, a reminder of the day's adventures beneath the tropical sky. You hoist yourself out of the pool and gather a towel from a cedar trunk beneath the palmettos. As you dry off, you follow a narrow, winding path of colorful marbles embedded in a concrete walkway to an outdoor shower. beneath the rain shower head and velvety expanse of sky beyond the silhouette of palms. You wash away the remnants of salt and chlorine from your skin. The coconut key lime soap creates a lush white lather, filling the rising steam clouds with its aroma. Your body feels relaxed but heavy as a wave of tiredness takes over. You towel off once more and follow a private walk to the back of the guest house. Ascending the wooden steps to the white wraparound porch, you enter the quaint living room of the bungalow, where rustic wood accents create a cozy atmosphere. Black and white photos of bustling Key West in the 1950s line the walls, transporting you back to a time when ferries regularly ran between the ports of Key West and Cuba. Exposed white wooden beams crisscross the lofty space, supporting dangling macrame planters filled with lush ferns and spider plants. Soft twinkling lights illuminate the living room and kitchen, wrapped loosely around the beams. Antique tiki lamps and colorful glass hurricane lamps cast the bungalow in orange, scarlet, green, and blue light. You walk into the bedroom as a gentle breeze drifts through the screen windows, carrying the floral perfume of night. The ceiling fan in the cathedral ceiling gently stirs the cool night air, creating the perfect environment for a restful sleep. The room is adorned with a tropical motif, with bold ocean paintings hanging on the walls and bedside lamps crafted from stained glass, shaped into delicate emerald palm fronds. You change into summery pajamas and peel away the light blanket and crisp white cotton sheet, sinking into the plush mattress with a sigh of contentment and ease. As you settle, reflections of the day dance in your mind like reflections of palm trees on the glass table. They cause you to wonder what you'll miss most about the Keys. The delicate smell of camellia flowers in the morning, their bright pink petals bursting with hope toward the brilliant sun. The faint perfume of the sea that permeates the air, that comes in so thick and humid at times that you feel its weight on your skin, and with every move, the vibrant oranges bursting with juice, and the unassuming green coconuts that could make a glass overflow with their healing contents. The careful selection of happy colors that wash the small historic bungalows in an array of turquoise, sky blue, salmon pink, mango, and yellow. These Floridian elements elevate your spirits, but you realize it is the whispers of the palms that stay with you the most. How they welcome you in the morning, softening the noise of the world with a persistent rustle as white gold sunlight filters through their fronds, elongating shadows that dance on the lanai as you take in the morning, feeling inspired to start a new day, yet longing to freeze time in the sun's gentle touch before the heat comes in fiercely. But the palms continue to soothe as the afternoon heat intensifies, the breeze offering reprieve, the palms offering better shade than a yellow beach umbrella. And when the sun lowers beyond the silhouette of the palms, casting them in rich orange gold light, they continue their song, slowing down the tempo of your heart and mind as you welcome the promise of sleep. Yes, it is the palms cast against a starry night sky as a new moon rises. The faint, soft pink-tinged sliver is narrow as a single frond as their soundtrack pursues and assists in ushering you to sleep. Mother Nature's nurturing touch finds the greatest power in the susurrations of the palms, and you receive the greatest gift, a deep sense of peace, grounded in the beauty of this tropical oasis of lush greens and blues with vibrant pinks that pop in even the darkest nocturnal light. The persistent whispers of the palms outside the Palmetto Hideaway deliver you to the brink of sleep. And with one final sigh, you allow yourself to drift into its comforting embrace with the grace of a sea turtle riding the surf, letting go. You may allow the tropical breeze to carry you to sleep, or onward to the next cozy story. The Shipwreck Hotel. Herman Melville expressed, "For in tremendous extremities the sea alone remains, in beauty and terror, a continual miracle." Every summer deserves a new adventure, the chance to escape the mundane and feel a renewed sense of curiosity and inspiration that you may have felt as a child and as a teen. Travel helps feed the soul at a time when life loses its luster and old pleasures morph into unfulfilling ruts, And so you set out on an adventure and find yourself aboard a ferry named Blissful Seas, en route to a small island off the coast of northern Maine when the weather is most pleasant. Like many of the cities and villages along the eastern seaboard, the small island honors its coastal heritage and nautical mysteries of the past. Cloudless cornflower blue skies meet the glittering blue-green water and the brilliant honeyed cast of the late afternoon sun. You sit on the starboard side of the ferry, catching sight of a humpback whale in the distance as the vessel seamlessly cuts through the gentle waves. Saltwater mist lands on your sun-kissed arms to leave tiny droplets and the delicate perfume of the Atlantic. Seagulls fly overhead, some habitually following the ferry according to its seasonal schedule, from the mainland to Lobster Point and back. The captain gracefully navigates the ferry into the harbor, where a line of day trippers wait for their return to reality on the mainland. Your heart wells with gratitude that your adventure is merely beginning, with a walk through the village to the storied Celestial Maiden, now known as the Shipwreck Hotel. A night of nostalgia and luxury awaits at this charming accommodation at the very tip of the island. The Celestial Maiden first set sail in the late 18th century from Halifax, Nova Scotia, on the cusp of summer when the air remained cool along the coast. It would be the last era of wooden ships made of oak, steamed and soaked to soften and bend. With 5 grand sails and 3 levels to the ship, it was designed by an eccentric young man named Nathaniel, who inherited great wealth, but found little success in securing the love and sense of adventure his heart yearned for. And so he set sail on the high seas, traveling the Atlantic down into the Caribbean, surviving close encounters with pirates and tropical storms. Feeling quite daring, he planned a trip around the world that was treacherous but rewarding for a soul desperately in need of excitement and filled with the unrelenting desire to be reminded of his mortality. A man drawn to the sea, his intentions seemed pure, and the rules were rather different back then. So we may find ourselves judging his character in a different light today. But in truth, he was unsettled, and many thought he never would settle down. Miraculous recoveries during ominous storms along the Cape of Africa, and nights spent standing at the helm of the ship with nothing but the white-capped waves, an expanse of twinkling stars, made this adventurous soul become a bit too confident. And so, on a slow return home to Canada, he insisted the crew navigate the coast of Maine. On a morning so foggy that even the waves lapping against the wooden vessel remained unseen. The journey had been long, and his hubris and impatience amounted to the celestial maiden crashing into the rocky coastline of a small island, damaging the ship beyond easy repair. Everyone survived, eventually taking refuge in a harbor town 10 miles up the coast of Maine. Most of the crew found other expeditions in need of their labor, while the daredevil young man found humility and love at the same time. He was so shaken by the shipwreck and so determined to live a long life with his new wife that he stayed close to land for decades to come, opting for small lakes over the vast ocean. He and his beloved brought 8 children into the world, who went forth and procreated, all the while the ship continued to decay where it was abandoned on a little-known island. But many generations later, a descendant named Charlie, with the same bold sense of adventure as Nathaniel, stumbled upon the decaying hulk of the Celestial Maiden while exploring his family's history. Captivated by the stories passed down through the years under the glow of firelight, he spontaneously purchased the land where the ship had run aground on that fateful foggy morning, determined to resurrect the vessel. It was the turn of the 20th century, an era of burgeoning industrialization and romantic nostalgia, determined to honor his ancestors' spirit and the rich maritime past. Charlie took on a monumental project. With painstaking dedication, he set out to not only restore the ship to its former glory, but also enhance it by creating a one-of-a-kind hotel that would serve as a testament to adventure and exploration. The restoration project spanned over a decade as the young man meticulously repaired the damaged hull, replaced weathered timbers with sturdy oak, and recreated the intricate rigging and grand sails that once billowed in the winds of international waters. Modern advances meant ships were now made of steel and ran on steam, and so his efforts required the help of craftsmen and artisans who studied the art of steamboxing wooden planks after foraging northeastern forests for the perfect lumber. The effort would take every bit of the dwindling inheritance Charlie had to his name to finish this project. He was the black sheep of the family, teased for his lofty ideas. But fate's hand would be in his favor. As the Shipwreck Hotel was completed in the same year, the island saw a surge in traffic. Thanks to being featured in travel publications and the advent of a reliable ferry service from the mainland. With the last of his resources, Charlie adorned the ship with an eclectic mix of antiques collected from around the world, exotic treasures that Nathaniel himself encountered on his daring whirlwind adventures. Elegant textiles, rich tapestries, and fine furnishings graced the cabins and common areas, evoking the opulence and charm of a bygone era, showcasing the riches pirates once sought. Each room was designed to reflect a different corner of the globe, paying homage to the cultures and landscapes that had captivated Nathaniel's adventurous spirit. The Shipwreck Hotel became a beacon for travelers seeking an extraordinary experience with a sense of safety in an oasis with sweeping views of the Atlantic. Guests immerse themselves in the romance of the exploration age in the common room, where nautical oil paintings in ornate antique frames told stories of bravery and exploration. From the panoramic views of the main coastline to the intimate corners and cozy nooks adorned with velvet settees and piles of silk throw pillows, every detail of the hotel spoke of the adventurous soul of its founder and the legacy of the celestial maiden. But as nostalgia has a way of doing, this fictional replication was softer, kinder, and more alluring than its original incarnation. It created just the kind of atmosphere that would have delighted Nathaniel, and many guests would proclaim they could sense his spirit within the wood-paneled walls and at the ship's helm, which now featured cafe tables for alfresco dining. Today, over a century since the hotel first opened, you come upon the beautifully landscaped path that winds around sand dunes and susurrating feathery beach grass, taken on a dance with the tepid Atlantic breeze. As you step onto the weathered ramp that leads to the main lobby of the Shipwreck Hotel, you are immediately enveloped in an atmosphere of nautical elegance and historic charm. The walls are paneled in rich dark wood, and brass fittings gleam softly in the ambient light. Above you hangs a magnificent crystal chandelier in the heart of the room, an heirloom passed down and brought back to life. Colorful hurricane lamp sconces, crafted from hand-blown glass, illuminate the wood-paneled walls in a rainbow palette of rich hues. Inside the lobby, a grand parlor unfolds before you, centered around an ebony grand piano, where a skilled piano player fills the air with old, lively tunes that match the ragtime spirit of the hotel's earliest days. The room is alive with the clinking of antique crystal glasses, each filled with old-fashioned specialty drinks that conjure the flavors of an era gone by. As the day transitions into the evening, the piano music will shift seamlessly to soothing jazz ballads, setting a relaxed tone as twilight descends upon the ship. You are greeted by the manager, dressed in a three-piece velvet suit and frilly white shirt, reminiscent of the Victorian era. His welcoming smile and polished demeanor reflect the hotel's commitment to timeless hospitality. With a courteous greeting and a baritone voice rich with a New England accent, he leads you through a passageway You walk down a navy blue runner rug embellished with ivory anchors, atop cherry wood floors that echo softly beneath your steps. Cast iron lanterns resembling lighthouses illuminate the corridor, their warm light casting gentle shadows on the vintage sunset photos taken over the decades at the Shipwreck Hotel. A gold tassel keychain is placed in your hand as you approach the door to a themed cabin named the Royal Suite. You insert the key into the brass lock, and it clicks open with a delightful sound. He insists you give him a ring from an antique rotary phone on the desk, should you need anything at all, and gives a reminder that dinner begins at 7. You enter the luxurious cabin to be transported back to the early 20th century, where every detail pays homage to the golden age of travel and adventure. A Victrola stands proudly in one corner, opposing an antique bookshelf overflowing with the works of Melville, Hemingway, the Bronte sisters, and other great writers of the 19th and 20th centuries. The old wood and books lend a pleasant, sweet smell that joins the saltwater breeze filtering through the cracked windows. A king-sized canopy bed stands as the centerpiece, with its drapes drawn back to reveal sumptuous burgundy and gold linens that invite relaxation and repose. The gleaming, intricately carved wood panel ceiling reflects the last afternoon light pouring in through the windows. Stepping towards the updated windows, you are greeted by a breathtaking view overlooking the ocean and a secluded cove to the east of the island, a promise of the delightful morning sunrise that awaits you. An ensuite bathroom features marine blue tiles, hand-painted with gold nautical embellishments, as well as a clawfoot soaking tub and glass-paneled shower. You turn on the gold faucet in the shower, and water cascades in dozens of streams from a rainfall showerhead. You change out of your travel attire to freshen up for dinner, as both the shower water and warm, shimmering sunlight pour over you. With time to spare, you luxuriate in the shower, taken on an olfactory journey through time with a fragrant jasmine sandalwood soap. Your muscles are soothed by the water, and your body feels refreshed as you step onto the bath mat and towel off. Having packed appropriately to dress for the theme of the ship, you prepare for the evening ahead. Dressing in elegant attire, you feel both playful and your best as you don a look from another era. With one last glance in an oval antique mirror hanging over a vanity table, you recognize a sparkle in your eyes and the luminous glow when one's cast in the light of golden hour. Feeling equal parts curious and hungry, you leave the cabin and proceed down the hall to a spiral staircase that ascends to the main deck. You join other guests who have gathered to witness the spectacle of the sunset. The sky above stretches vast and expansive, its hues of crimson, gold, and indigo reflecting the changing moods of the sea. You cannot help but imagine the many eras between the ship's first sail and today, and all the sunrises and sunsets in between. Small, intimate tables are spread throughout the deck, catering to both guests and locals who cherish the season. Many, like you, have traveled solo to this ship, and it's a welcome space to make new friends or enjoy solitude without pressure. Something about the ship inspires you to act differently and in ways you hadn't anticipated. You are led by a feeling of openness and wonder, happy to try new things, all the while remaining comfortable in your skin. The maitre d' leads you to a table on the starboard side, draped in a delicate lace tablecloth that billows softly in the open-air restaurant. The table is set with ivory and gold china. A candle flickers softly in a mason jar lantern, a simple yet evocative touch. You are handed a menu on vintage parchment that features tastes from another time, crafted from handwritten recipes passed down through generations of Nathaniel's descendants. These original recipes are printed on the menu in ornate cursive handwriting. Each dish tells a story, a culinary journey through the flavors of the Atlantic seaboard. The sails of the forever docked vessel flutter gently in the evening breeze, their canvas catching the rich clover honey light of sunset. A band begins to play from an elevated wooden stage, their slow tempo music mingling with the salty sea air as dinner is served and followed by dessert. As the sunset hues give way to dusty blues and wispy clouds, the tables are cleared to make room for dancing. The atmosphere changes as lanterns strung around the deck turn on, and the music becomes livelier. You move to the rhythm as other guests take to the dance floor. The Shipwreck Hotel seems to swallow inhibitions, making way for a sense of infectious fun and adventure, all in the spirit of Nathaniel. Collectively, you revel in a sense of feeling alive, thriving, and full of possibility. Under the canopy of stars, the island is far enough away from the coast that it's easy to imagine yourself far out at sea. Amidst the laughter and music, you abandon self-consciousness for pure enjoyment embracing the romance and spirit of adventure that defines this extraordinary place. As the night unfolds, you sense the presence of Nathaniel's bold spirit and wonder how he would have felt if he were transported through time to encounter his ship reimagined. Could he even have dreamed of such a festive gathering when wandering the globe, navigating storms, or stargazing without a hint of land in sight? Feeling your heart pounding with vitality, you yearn to slow down, to enjoy some of the evening in solitude and step away from the festivities. You wander the deck to find a secluded spot at the stern of the ship. In a hidden nook, a swing chair sways gently in the evening ocean breeze, positioned perfectly to overlook the tranquil expanse of the ocean and the rolling moonlit dunes beyond. You settle onto the chair and gaze up at the stars that sprinkle the night sky like scattered diamonds. The rising moon casts a silvery path across the deep blue water, reflecting on the lacy white crests of crashing waves. The night's festivities gradually wind down, and the music softly fades into the background as you are lost in the moment. A deep sense of peace pervades you, curated by the intoxicating Atlantic air, the songs of the surf, and the occasional silver flashes of fish darting through the glittering waves below. You continue to rock back and forth, imagining all the stories the wood panels of the ship could whisper to the sea, and wonder what the sea would say in return in all its majesty and power. Your eyes become heavy as a pleasant tiredness settles over you. You rise from the swing chair and stretch, reaching and grasping the smooth wood railing around the deck as you bathe in the moonlight. You relish the quiet of this late hour, fighting the urge to sleep, for you don't wish to miss a single moment of magic aboard the Shipwreck Hotel. You take another stairwell to make your way back through the corridors to the main parlor. The pianist is long gone, but a few guests linger, enjoying nightcaps and sleepy conversations. When you take a seat at the bar, you opt for a cup of tea with the sleep-enhancing ingredients, mint and chamomile, delivered to you on a silver tray and served in delicate colonial china. Flickering candlelight casts soft dancing shadows on the walls as you sip your tea. Through the windows, the rhythmic ebb and flow of the waves lull you into a state of contentment as the tea spreads its warmth throughout your body and works its gentle magic. You finish the last bit of the drink as a few mint leaves remain when the cup makes its final clink on the saucer. When you set it down, you rise and wander through the halls as if floating through a dream, happy and grateful for the comfortable cabin that awaits. Once inside, you change into cozy pajamas and crack open the window a bit more to invite in the cool, salty breeze. The sound of the waves becomes a soothing lullaby as their gentle rhythm fills the room. Climbing into the canopy bed, you sink atop the supportive mattress and bring the cool sateen sheets up below your chin. You rub your cheeks against the delightfully cool pillowcases as you make yourself comfortable. The day's adventures linger in your body as you still feel the rocking of the ferry and swaying to the music, leaving a trace of enchantment as you drift to sleep. With each healing breath of the saltwater air, you feel lighter and more serene. And in this luxurious hideaway in the Shipwreck Hotel, you can no longer fight the beckoning of slumber. And so you simply surrender. You may glide on sleepy waves to dreamland, or explore with a new sleep tale that follows. The Feather Cottage. Some people go their entire lives programmed from birth, accepting what is told to them at an early age as the only truth. They judge anyone who doesn't follow the same path they were put on. Questions and curiosity terrify or confuse them, and there is nothing safer than the status quo. But as we all know, at some point, every soul is at the mercy of unavoidable change. And the more one resists change, the more difficult it becomes as the changes persist. We have the choice to find comfort in the discomfort and may either adapt or give in to the unsettled feeling, taking away its power to rule us. Sometimes, these moments of change draw those narrow-minded souls, simply grasping to survive, deeper into their beliefs, as they long to feel safe once more. But then there are the brave souls like Brielle, people who are seemingly born into everything coveted by others. From an outsider, the status quo for these lucky members of the royal class takes on a fairy tale charm. But the reality is never quite as it seems. Brielle was born with a proverbial golden spoon in her mouth. Parties were hosted to celebrate her arrival, albeit they were a bit forced, as she was the disappointing fourth daughter to a king who yearned for a son. Nevertheless, this new princess was different somehow, and the villagers sensed it. From an early age, she became someone they projected their dreams upon. Her gleaming eyes and sweet disposition warmed the hearts of many at a time when the village needed an installation of hope. As Brielle grew into a young lady, the stone castle walls felt as though they were caving in. There was an austerity and coldness to the medieval palace. No matter how many layers of fabric she donned or fires she fanned, the damp chill remained in her bones. She was drawn to the softness of the world outside. She spent nights dreaming about the robin's nest outside the windows of her stone-walled suite, wishing she could swap lives with the chirping chicks. She collected feathers on her long walks in the nearby woods and through the castle garden, filling her suite with a diverse array. Such a simple obsession. The villagers would forage for unique feathers as well, bringing them as offerings to the young, precocious princess, who would sneak away from the castle grounds at the age of 8 and explore the village on her own. She was drawn to the simple thatched roofs and warm fires of the tiny cottages that roared within, casting the walls in honeyed light. Nobody quite understood her attraction to their modest dwellings, as their only access to the castle came on ceremonious gatherings when the ballroom and halls were alight with merry candles and regal attire. Day-to-day living in the castle was dreary, the walls serving as a great divide between Brielle and nature. And so she spent her free time dreaming, drawing ethereal sketches of a cottage made of feathers. She imagined herself living in a sacred nest deep within the woods by a babbling stream. Were she not a member of royalty, the locals she consulted for ideas would have laughed in her face when she spoke about her designs for a feather house. Only the poorest members of the village would scrap together straw, twigs, and clay to build their lackluster dwellings. But whatever doubts were cast her way, her defiant spirit prevailed. Once a younger brother was at last born, all attention went to him, and she was oft forgotten. As childhood faded into the dawning of adulthood, suitors would arrive at the castle. One well-traveled prince attempted to woo Brielle with a pair of peacocks delivered to the palace door. And while it wasn't enough to win her affection, her gratitude for the beautiful birds could not be greater. Her mother recognized there was something unique about Brielle, and rather than sentence her to a life she didn't want, she gave her one of the rarest gifts a mother could give at the time: the freedom to choose her destiny. And her father, far more concerned with his eldest daughter and his son's aspirations, simply agreed and let her go. Brielle's dreams became reality as she secured a small parcel of land near a stream, far beyond the influence of the castle. Set in a clearing in the woods, visions of her new life danced in her dreams and brought warm feelings that she had never felt before. She exchanged her jewels for help and supplies, building a modest cottage near the pristine babbling water. She succumbed to the influence of some wise builders, deciding to use stones for the foundation, acquiescing that the vision for her Feather Cottage would be reflected in the interior design. The thatched roof added a touch of softness, as did the tall dampest grass that grew around the clearing. From her years of collecting feathers, she fashioned tufts of soft down into pillows and mattresses, cushions, and rugs. Every inch of the cottage was inspired by heavenly softness, enlivened by pastel hues and the artistic incorporation of feathery items she foraged in nature. Upon entering the cottage, one would be welcomed by urns containing ivory feathery grass and plush rugs underfoot. Woven fluffy plumage was in every corner. The wooden cabinets and shelves were painted ivory, with gold feathery designs and whimsical scrolls. Brielle's cottage was a haven for small furry animals. Many she rescued on her morning walks along the stream. And while she was completely disinterested and disengaged from the social comings and goings at the palace, she was far from being a shut-in, and welcomed travelers from near and far who, like her, needed to reconnect with a softness in the world. And on one fortunate spring afternoon, you find yourself in the heart of the nearby village, invited to enjoy a restorative escape at Brielle's Feather Cottage. You wander along the paved dirt roads of the village, passing half-timbered homes with chocolate brown shutters and gabled roofs. Flower baskets hang from windows, overflowing with bright pink, lavender, baby blue, and yellow flowers. It's the first sunny day in a string of April showers, and it brings out the villagers in droves as they happily tend to their errands and barter at the open-air marketplace. They welcome you with smiles and nods, sensing you've come from far away. Their eyes pore over you curiously, even though you are sensibly dressed for the times and aim to fit in. The afternoon sun washes the village in ethereal, sparkling gold light, more opulent and awe-inspiring than the greatest jewels in the castle. The intoxicating smell of fresh loaves of bread lingers from the morning, mingling with the sweet, rich aromas of the damp, fertile earth and blooming flowers. In the heart of the village, you discover a map on a rustic wooden board attached to two polished logs sticking out of the earth, surrounded by daisies. The village roads and names of popular landmarks and dwellings are burned into the wood by the art of pyrography. You trace the etched route to the woods that leads to a stream that will in turn deliver you to the Feather Cottage. The rich, reddish-brown grains of the wood map tell a story of their own, smoothed by an artisan's precision, weather, and time. Villagers continue to pass as you weave your way to the outskirts of the bustling center, noticing how the homes become more sparse. The castle grounds loom to the left, the steely gray-blue fortress that remains untouched by the sun as clouds linger overhead. The first butterflies of the season hover over the meadows of tall grass, bluebells, forget-me-nots, and dandelions that merge with the forest. You instantly notice the change in the ground, welcoming the cushion of the grass and damp earth. As you approach the abundant stream that circles the village and carves a path through the woods, you feel whisked away into a painting come to life, brimming with a rainbow of colors that offer nature's finest and brightest palette. The air, warm in the sun and cool in the shade, offers a constant change in temperatures with a subtle shift of the breeze. Every sensation is pleasant, the warmth and coolness continuously balancing one another. You inhale the perfume of blossoms and the flinty smell of wet stones that line the stream. Despite the heavy linen garments you wear, there's a feeling of weightlessness and ease as the damp ground meets each step with a bounciness. In the meadows, life stirs with a vibrancy as old as the hills. Birds, their plumage a riot of colors against the backdrop of greenery, sing with a fervor. Their songs rise and fall like waves upon the wind, pledging their allegiance to this perfect day. Approaching the forest, you're greeted by the familiar rush of the gushing stream, its waters cascading over moss-covered rocks like glittering sapphires. The soundtrack, a constant companion on your trek, is a melody of blue and silver, a shimmering symphony that echoes through the enchanting woods and fills your heart with a sense of wonder. Stepping into the cool shade of the forest, the world transforms into lush, rustling greenery and shadowy depths. Conifers sway overhead, as if reaching to sweep away the clouds in the sky, occasionally dropping pine cones onto Earth's tapestry of emerald moss, fallen copper leaves, and iridescent jagged stones. Sunlight filters through the dense canopy, casting dappled patterns of white gold and finger-like shadows upon the forest floor. The scents of pine and cedar hang heavy in the air, mingling with the freshwater mist rising from the stream. On the forest floor, mushrooms emerge from the rich soil, like scarlet and yellow topaz gemstones, scattered in miniature villages around the exposed roots of ancient trees. The trees stand as sentinels, with hollows that support sleeping baby raccoons and chipmunks. Each step brings you deeper into the woods, and you use the stream as a guide. Fish breach the prismatic ripples, landing in ungraceful splashes. Plump jade green frogs leap from rock to rock with varying speeds and rhythms. They offer croaks with different timbres and tones, joining the susurrations of the trees and the persistent gurgles of the stream. The childlike part of you instantly identifies with the frog that most reflects your temperament. You pause for a moment to take it in, feeling as the sun lands on your face and you smile. Brielle's desire to escape the castle grounds is more evident the more you explore. Something about this timeless forest feels familiar and soothing, filling your soul with a sense of wonder and gratitude. This natural landscape transcends the boundaries of time, and while you know you have been transported to another place in history, the forest feels ageless and enduring. Yet when you close your eyes, the intuitive parts of you recognize that this world is different. You feel less pressure. There's a purity to the soundtrack of a forest, uninterrupted by the distant hum of electricity and the sounds of planes flying overhead. The differences are subtle at first, but the more you attune yourself to the woodlands, the more soothing these differences become. Everything seems less heavy, more harmonious. There's a vital connection to nature and survival that fills the days with a sense of purpose and meaning in the most mundane tasks. With this in mind, you come upon the clearing in the woods and witness the peacocks frolicking before the Feather Cottage. The male peacock extends his train fully, aiming to garner attention from the peahen, whose iridescent shades of greens and blues are more subdued than her suitors. Coupled swans and ducks leisurely float on a pond just beyond the cottage. You see Brielle in her garden, tending to lush hyacinths, the perfume emanating from their purple-blue clusters overpowers all the aromas in the forest with a sweet and spicy aroma that is ethereal yet robust. Bright white and soft pink cherry blossom trees in their full glory stand on each side of the cottage, their soft petals gently raining onto the earth. Brielle's hair flows down her back, the crown of her head wrapped in a braid with small pieces of baby's breath scattered throughout. She moves with a delicate grace imparted by her years at the castle. Symphony, a white long-haired cat with a single black marking in the shape of a heart just above her feathery tail, lounges carelessly in a patch of sunlight by the edge of the garden. Celestia, a medium-sized terrier, runs to greet you, circling your feet in a happy yet protective way, as Brielle turns to face you. She walks toward you with a smile, her shiny hair reflecting sunlight in a halo of light around her. She offers a hug, the smell of hyacinth lingering on her fingers as you embrace. She invites you into her cottage. Fluffy white feathers surround the peachy pink shutters and multi-paned windows with gold-painted wooden grills. Window boxes overflow with purple heather. The feathery flowers are also fashioned into a wreath hung above the bronze feather-shaped knocker on the front door. Brielle's skirt glides across the earth as she leads you to the entrance of the Feather Cottage. The sun lowers toward the horizon, pouring through the windows to cast the room in rich orange gold light. Everything about the cottage inspires a sense of softness. Brielle invites you to remove your shoes and offers a pair of fluffy slippers to put on as the cat and dog trail into the cottage behind you. Brielle changes into slippers as well, and then tends to a small fire in the hearth, adding 2 logs and stoking it as the flames grow. The evenings still become quite cool after sunset, and since leaving the cold, dark castle, Brielle always keeps her cottage toasty and cozy. A series of nests sit on the mantel, transformed into baskets for dried lavender and roses, placed atop feathers collected from blue jays, cardinals, and white doves. A harp sits in the corner of the room, beneath a canopy of peacock feathers hung in boughs from the exposed beams in the ceiling. The table is set for dinner, and Brielle invites you to settle into a feathery chair that is so soft that it molds around every nook of your body. As you settle, the efforts of your journey are felt in your tired muscles as you stifle a yawn. But Brielle catches it and tells you to yawn all you want. This is a home, and when someone feels at home, it's normal to let down your guard and feel sleepier and more relaxed than normal. It's a sign that you feel safe, she insists. She feeds her pets first, and then comes over to pour a hot botanical tea into your cup. Notes of honey, vanilla, chamomile, and cinnamon travel on the steam that rises toward you. She then serves you a steaming bowl of an herbaceous stew, full of nutrients and vegetables with healing properties. Once done, she serves a coffin pastry, a popular pie of the times, its buttery stand-alone crust filled with stewed fruit and cloves, concealed beneath the crispy golden top that you break into. The meal is unexpectedly pleasant and satiating, familiar yet unusual at the same time. As nightfall arrives, Brielle lights the candles in the candelabra and atop the mantel. As she explains how long ago She feared the darkness of night, but in the Feather Cottage, she longs for the nocturnal sounds of the moonlit stream and forest as they give the perfect backdrop to truly appreciate the coziness of her home. You assist in cleaning up after the meal, languidly and not in a rush. Symphony and Celestia intertwine in a furry ball atop a feather pillow near the fireplace. Brielle sits on a stool by the harp and begins to play. The slow, simple melody joins the crackles and pops of the fire, the muted babbling sounds of the stream, and the distant hooting of owls. You settle into a plush armchair, reveling in the softness of the music and the night. Your gaze dreamily explores the tiny details of the room, the hidden places where soft feathers lurk, arranged in artistic designs and in a tapestry on the wall. A swan feather pen rests in a tiny jar of ink atop a hand-carved wooden desk with feather designs. Brielle plays another song, slower and even more enchanting, causes your eyes to gently close. You find yourself drifting to sleep, feeling so safe and comfortable. The song ends, and the melody is replaced with a gentle rustle of her dress as she approaches you and softly touches your hand. Your eyes flutter open to see her, and she grasps your fingers, leading you to the guest room. Moonlight pours through the windows as Brielle starts a fire with impressive speed. Ivory cotton bedclothes rest atop the feather mattress, folded neatly with crisp corners, and a small basin of rose water is placed atop a table by the window for you to cleanse yourself of your travels. Brielle wishes you good night before disappearing into her adjacent room. You freshen up and change into the pajamas that smell of lavender and hyacinth. As you settle, a sense of serenity washes over you as gently as the spring breeze rustling through the meadows this afternoon. The swan motif of the guest room is elegantly expressed with a headboard crafted from swan feathers, each delicate plume arranged to form a half circle that rises from the feather bed. They create an angelic backdrop against the rough-hewn stone walls, their snowy white hue standing out in stark contrast to the gray stones. Vases of feathers adorn every available surface, their pristine white and ivory tones catching the soft flashes of flickering firelight. Each shimmering feather fills the room with a sense of otherworldly beauty. As you run your fingers over their silky smoothness, you can't help but be mesmerized by their delicate intricacy and the sense of peace they evoke. You pull back the feather-filled quilt and settle in the mattress, appreciating the commitment and love that went into collecting these feathers over many years and giving them a second life. For Brielle, they held within them the promise of a brighter tomorrow, a reminder to find the softness in the hardest of times. The swans in particular served as an inspiration for her own transformation and growth, and by being a guest in the Feather Cottage, she wishes the same for you, even when that means going your own way and forging a path no one expected for you. Your head sinks into the feather pillows, surrounded by the soft embrace of swan feathers, the gentle moon glow, and romantic firelight, as a sense of peace washes over you. Cocooned in the cozy warmth of the room, you melt into the softness. Every part of your body, from crown to sole, welcomes a sense of lightness and ease. Drifting, floating like a feather that surrenders to the night breeze, you waft on the currents of the night. You are as free as a feather to drift to sleep or to be carried along to the next sleep story. The Moonlit Chateau. The Loire Valley is a rich, fertile land of rolling green hills along the longest river in France. From its source in the Massif Central, near the Cevennes Mountains, to its mouth at the Atlantic Ocean, the river has influenced the development of this cherished location. Monarchies ruled from this picturesque region for centuries, giving it the name the Valley of the Kings. The history of the Loire Valley is as flush and varied as its scenery. During the Renaissance, French royalty and nobility flocked to the area, drawn by its fertile lands and mild climate. During this golden age, the most iconic landmarks were erected, with over 300 French chateaux featuring manicured gardens, moats and bridges, elegant turrets, and intricate facades. New culinary staples were born here, from ash-ripened goat cheese to Sancerre and Vouvray, and tarte tatin made from local apples. The romantic Loire Valley is a haven for those seeking peace and relaxation along the riverbanks, where nature and sophistication merge. One can escape the modern frenzy in this timeless region. The allure of nature and its heritage offers a perfect backdrop for reflection, inspiration, and rejuvenation. Wandering through the Loire Valley is like wafting through a dream or a watercolor painting, where greens and blues blend seamlessly. But for the chateau, the edges of everything around you appear soft, softened by time, or simply born with softness. The valley's natural splendor evokes tranquility and the promise that simplicity truly is the ultimate sophistication. The gentle flow of the Loire River invites you to slow down as you arrive in the area on a holiday, mesmerized by its silky ripples. You explore the grounds of Chateau Lumière. Since arriving, you notice how effortlessly your heart rate slowed and your breaths became deeper. You inhale the air, and its crisp dampness feels like a purifying tonic. The vitality of the valley comes across in every intake of air, and each time you recognize a different scent that's carried in this healing elixir. Fresh grass and wet river stones, lavender, honeysuckle, and the fertile earth. The subtle sweetness of ripe grapes and fermenting must. The nearby ancient woodlands and their perfume of cedar, moss, and pine. As the late afternoon sun pours over you, the river breeze causes your lightweight attire to billow. The emerald grass beneath your feet is radiant in the sun. Sun rays resemble sparkling gold dust in the misty air, creating tiny prisms on the dewy blades of grass. Your arms stretch toward the sun as you take in its warmth, a contrast to the tepid air and cool river. Chateau Lumière extends over the river like a bridge in a succession of 3 passageways where riverboats would travel beneath its magnificent arches. Supplies would be delivered to a platform in the center of the waterway and then carried by staff to the kitchen above. The castle looms before you, its creamy tufu limestone reflecting the opulent golden light. It would take hours to fully explore the many suites and wings of the Renaissance castle, and your heart and mind fill with warm feelings at the thought of all the cozy nooks and secret passageways. Memories contained within the towering stone walls seem to permeate the air when twilight encroaches upon the valley, inspiring dreams of those who sleep away within the dozens of chambers. You walk by the curated garden that showcases a fountain and shallow pool the length of an Olympic-sized pool. Lily pads leisurely float on the glistening silvery water, and you understand how the entire valley was once considered France's garden. Birds sing out overhead, dipping into the pool for a sip or two of water. But everyone awaits the songs of nightingales who fill the air with their melodic call at sundown. Their full serenade welcomes the night when the palace walls come to life in the tender kiss of moonlight. But now the sun begins its gradual descent as you step beneath a trellis dripping in honeysuckle, leading you to the sprawling vineyards. As you stand amidst the rows of vines overlooking Chateau Lumière, the world around you seems to come alive with warm, dreamy hues of cantaloupe, blush, and lavender blue. The romantic colors are almost unreal, each stroke blending seamlessly into the next, creating lush gradients and a scene of ethereal beauty. The air circulates, rustling the grass and blossoms as the gentle warmth from the last moments of sunlight caresses your skin before the temperature drops with the approaching twilight. Your senses are heightened in this moment of tranquility. The air carries the earthy scent of the vineyard, mingling with the sweet aroma of fallen grapes that decay on the grass. A part of you longs for the afternoon to carry on forever. Yet you are curious about nightfall and its transformative powers. Core memories stir within you as you become as perceptive to the natural world around you as you were as a young child. Led by curiosity, without a schedule or tasks or a wandering mind to interfere with simply existing. As the sun dips lower, casting a rich amber glow across the landscape, you find yourself drawn to a limestone bench perched at the edge of the vineyard. From this vantage point, you watch the clouds above transform into a canvas of shifting colors and shapes, their expressions ever changing as they reflect the lush palette of pinks, oranges, golds, and reds. Your fingers grace the fine grains of the bench to discover even the limestone offers a velvety touch. You exist in the heart of this unfolding beauty, the perfect vantage point to take in the river, the chateau, the vineyard, and the distant garden. As the last rays of sunlight fade to darkness, the magical transformation continues. The chateau, once gilded in sunlight, now takes on the feathery blues of night, its silhouette standing out against the darkening sky. The sparkling glints of gold that reflected on the river become undulating, satiny sapphire blue ribbons. The mystical hues of night conjure thoughts of fairy tale settings, of magical spells and romantic dalliances throughout the grounds, throughout history. You rise slowly, listening for the change in the breeze as you welcome the nightingale's serenade. A sigh escapes your lips as your body slows down and you leisurely make your gradual return to the chateau. You find your way to the stone terrace, overlooking the sprawling woodlands to the west of the chateau. Your imagination conjures stories of horse-drawn carriages making their way through the shadowy cedar and pine forest to arrive at the chateau, sometimes for secret evening trysts, and other times for grand galas and balls. Settling into the plush floral cushions of a teal wrought iron seat and the sweeping limestone veranda, you appreciate the modern touches to the centuries-old chateau. The fabric of the cushions captures a meadow of Loire Valley wildflowers with an impressionistic hand. Many gatherings were hosted by royalty here, and many important conversations were had over glasses of Cremant de Loire. But tonight, you revel in solitude and in your own pleasant company. And in this quietude, from a vantage point once used as a lookout, you enjoy the panoramic view of the Loire River below, its gentle water shimmering in the moonlight like millions of mirrors. The ripples applaud the night with their constant motion, their melody faintly heard as the moon casts its mesmerizing glow across the landscape. Local delicacies await you, their allure heightened by the enchanting glow of the moonlight. Medallions of goat cheese bathe in an opal glow, their creamy centers illuminated by the evening light. Loire Valley honey cascades around the cloud-like edges of ash-ripened pyramids of Valençay, glistening like a river of gold in the night. Beside the cheese, a crusty baguette stretches as long as your arm, its golden exterior giving way to downy tufts of ivory bread inside. Still warm from the oven, steam rises as you tear off a piece, filling the night with its intoxicating aroma. You savor every texture and nuanced flavor of this terroir, slowly making your way through the assortment of delights. A hand-woven basket overflows with fruit, with vibrant colors and shiny exteriors that glisten in the moonlight. Ripe berries, juicy peaches, and plump grapes pile high. To the right of the basket, a beaded seafoam green cake stand hosts an apple tart tatin. Its rich, amber, caramelized crust shines as it fills the air with notes of brown sugar and tart cooked apples. Flickering candles and glass lanterns scattered about the veranda on bistro tables bring an intimacy to the night. You get lost in the gentle movements of light around you, lost in the mesmerizing dance of firelight and moonlight reflections. As the moon rises higher over the Loire River, it brings the feeling of a magical storybook coming to life. Its silvery beams bathe the landscape in an ethereal glow, casting long shadows that stretch to the dark blue-black horizon. You breathe in the enchanting air of a place that only now feels real, existing beyond the make-believe tales of castles and princes and princesses once told to you. The wind changes direction, sharply and a bit unexpectedly, to bring a pleasantly cool breeze, carrying with it the scent of distant fires and wood smoke. The faint bleating of goats travels on the breeze as these rambunctious beings settle for the night. The pastoral charm of the Loire Valley does not escape you, even from the regal veranda of the chateau. A staff member comes to the veranda to clear the table, offering a bit of tea to help you transition into the sleepy embrace of the night. As the warm liquid settles in your stomach, you stand slowly, venturing out to explore a different path along the river before retiring for the night. As you walk, you take in the chateau from a new vantage point as the golden glow of its exterior lights becomes faint against the silver luster of vibrant moonlight. Everything around you is awash in its iridescent gleam, and you notice how even your hands reflect the luminous light. It all suddenly makes sense how the chateau got its name. Your feet slowly lead you along a winding stone path beside the glistening river. As you take in the enormity of the chateau and consider all the hundreds of chateaus in the region, you are overcome by gratitude and awe. The amount of love and labor that went into erecting these otherworldly fortresses is quite unfathomable. You pass beneath the arches of the chateau bridge to merge on the other side, where a staircase of 36 smooth stone steps lead to the west wing. You ascend, counting each one as you go, becoming more and more tired with each step. The silky river laps against the stones below, its soundtrack becoming fainter the higher you climb. You arrive at a side door entrance, one of dozens of entrances into the chateau. It brings you to the main corridor of the west wing. Oil paintings and watercolors, created over hundreds of years, are contained in ornate antique frames to hang on the wall. They depict the most blissful seasons in the Loire Valley to capture its verdant hills, winding grapevines, fields of wildflowers, and majestic chateaus. Antique bronze sconces, bejeweled with dangling teardrop crystals, illuminate the way. The crystals refract the light, and small prisms dance on the long lavender and ivory rug that runs down the hall. You notice new smells in the chateau, a sweet mustiness mingling with the scent of burning candle wax. The floor feels so much more solid than the earth beneath your shoes. Each step echoes softly in the silence of the corridor. As you walk, you cannot help but admire the intricate details of the interior. The ornate moldings, the beautiful carvings, the graceful curves of doorways that lead to parlors and chambers and a library. You approach towering double doors with ornate brass doorknobs etched with the designs of lavender blossoms. Your palm grasps the cool textured knobs as you turn them simultaneously and open the heavy doors into your chambers. Like many parts of the chateau, the lofty ceilings bring out the height of the protective stone walls of this fortress. Amid the strong, towering features of the room, the space remains a sanctuary of timeless comfort and feminine elegance. Softened by velvet and silk textiles, and sheer curtains that dance on the valley breeze. You feel at home. The bedroom doors close softly behind you. As you approach the French doors that open onto a balcony, you peer out at moonlit rows of lavender, rippling in the breeze like the distant, glittery ebb and flow of the river. You stand still for a moment, once more inhaling the perfume of the night and feeling the river air on your skin as you bathe in the moonlight. You walk farther down the balcony to enter stained glass doors that lead into the bathroom. You approach the clawfoot tub, turning the gold faucets and adjusting for the perfect temperature for a soak. The gold feet of the tub rest on a stone platform, decorated with a dozen candles in varying sizes and holders. You light each wick, and small flames come to life, casting a soft, flickering light that dances on the water's surface. Steamy water fills the porcelain basin, and you remove your clothes and sink beneath its hot embrace. All tension melts away from your muscles as you close your eyes and surrender to the soothing warmth. For a moment, you imagine you are floating down the Loire River, taking in the magnificent sights along the way to the Atlantic. Your body hovers just below the surface of the misty water as the cool night air flows through the open windows. The smell of burning candles, now buried beneath the aromatic notes of the Loire River and lavender fields. You cannot remember a time you felt so serene. Resting your head on the thick, round sill of the ivory tub, you open your eyes to discover crystal sun catchers dangling from the top of the window. Only now they capture the moonlight, scattering prisms of color across the dark room. In a dreamy state, you can no longer differentiate the distant soundtrack of the river from the soft, splashing sound of the bathwater as you slowly rise and towel off, peering out onto the nocturnal canvas of dark purple, indigo, and marine blue. You feel a sense of gratitude for the beauty of the world around you and the tranquility of this moment. It's not always easy to feel this much at home in a faraway place. And yet, for the second time on this beautiful evening, you truly do. Surrounded by the timeless elegance of the chateau and the natural splendor of the Loire Valley, there is a familiarity that comforts you. Unexpected as it is, it connects you to the gentle voice that once read you stories about places like this. You put on a thick terry cloth robe, cinching the belt neatly and tightly around your waist. You blow out the candles one by one, casting your wishes for the night as tiny black smoke spirals are left in the wake of your breath. Your bare feet touch upon the cool stone floor that leads you back to the bedroom. Moonlight showers the Renaissance-era four-poster bed with beams that rise to mere inches beneath the high ceilings. Thick bed curtains made of ruby, amethyst, emerald, and sapphire patches sewn together with gold threads like angel hair drape elegantly around the bed. When drawn shut, they create a cocoon-like haven for sleep, but you keep them open, grateful for the sensual touch of the night breeze on your face. Inspired by crown jewels, the antiques in the room gleam softly in the moonlight, each piece showcasing pops of purple, garnet, cobalt, gold topaz, and sea green. As you change out of the robe into silky pajamas and hoist yourself onto the high bed, you sink into the plush mattress. The frame may be a relic, but the mattress is as new and luxurious as those found in the finest hotels. Your head sinks into a half-dozen pillows piled around you, and you gaze out at the sparkling river winding around the pastoral landscape of lavender fields and grapevines cast in a silver aura. As much as you long to watch the night unfold until the sun rises once more, the tiredness of the day begins to weigh heavily upon you. Closing your eyes, you feel the soft, whispering breeze and gentle river fill the air with its sleepy soundtrack. Slowly, you float down, 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 like a riverboat through time, making its way through the Loire Valley until you cross through the portal to sleep. Without pause or hesitation, you allow this journey to slumber to unfold, and you may surrender to sleep or enjoy the last story of the night about to unfold. The Windmill Cottage. Not far from the bustling city of Amsterdam lies a picturesque village designed centuries ago with masterful efforts that transformed a flood-prone region into a habitable community. Without natural dunes to protect the land from a rising sea and rivers, mighty walls known as dikes transformed marshes into farmland. Below sea level, the Netherlands, meaning lowland, or Holland, meaning hollow land, benefited from water-pumping windmills since the 13th century. These polder mills helped reclaim the land from the sea. For many years, windmills were at the heart of Dutch life, evolving to mill grain and saw wood. The Dutch took pride in their resilience, working with nature rather than fighting it. Wind set the sails in motion, moving gears and pumps of the mills to bring the water in low-lying regions to higher canals, rivers, or reservoirs. Of course, one day, modern inventions and electricity and diesel would prove more efficient. Yet the windmills remained symbols of Dutch ingenuity. And such was the case in the village of Zilverhaven, named after its silver harbor. In this quaint village of wooden homes and centuries-old windmills, moonlit nights bring an air of romance to the canals and reservoirs as they reflect the luminous light. At the turn of the 20th century, one of the most vital windmills in Zilverhaven, was slowly fashioned into a charming cottage with a unique, soothing soundtrack of the sails in the wind. And on this fortunate night, the Zilverhaven Windmill Cottage welcomes you for a retreat. You arrive at the time of year when tulips are in full bloom, showcasing a rainbow palette of petals, partially gleaming in opal moonlight, while partially concealed in the blue, shadowy cast of nightfall. You enjoy a leisurely stroll through the quiet village as the muted scuffle of your shoes on a cobblestone path is accompanied by the distant bleating of sheep. The night feels timeless, enhanced by the pastoral beauty of the landscape. The rising full moon pours over the village, bathing everything in a soft, silvery glow. The cobblestones beneath your feet are slightly damp, made reflective by the lingering essence of the sea. As you wander, the citrus and honey melon scents of blooming tulips fill the air, mingling with a salty tang carried on the gentle breeze from the nearby harbor. The air is cool and crisp, caressing your skin and carrying with it the tranquil sounds of a sleepy village settling into the night. You are grateful for your thick cotton hoodie and soft, well-worn jeans that keep you cozy and prevent the damp air from settling in your bones. A glassy reservoir ahead shimmers with a mirror-like quality, reflecting the moonlight and the twinkling stars, and acting like a footlight that illuminates the looming Windmill Cottage behind it. Underneath a vast starry sky, the fields of Zilverhaven bloom with a mesmerizing tapestry of tulips. Reds, yellows, pinks, and purples stretch across the landscape in waves of vibrant hues, each petal shimmering in the hopeful luminescence of a full moon. In the distance, sheep graze peacefully in verdant pastures beyond the well-maintained rows of tulips. Their gentle baas are more subdued than their morning bleats, and become faint beneath the more present sound of rippling water from the nearby canal. Their woolly, cloud-like forms, silhouetted against the starlit horizon, inspire a sense of sleepiness so intense you wouldn't dare count them now, when there is so much more you wish to explore. You venture across a stone bridge, oft referred to as the Kissing Bridge, a place where young couples once snuck away to take in the panoramic views and seal the night with a kiss before parting ways. Your hand brushes atop the smooth stone railing worn by time and the elements. You appreciate its sturdiness and the dreamlike quality of crossing it. How spectacular and strange it is to have all this beauty to yourself. You take in the illuminated fields, imagining the Dutch residents long ago who were made to be peacekeepers between the delicate power balance between land and sea. So masterfully contained, you look out at the tranquil waters that reflect the starry sky above without a hint of the ocean and river currents that once controlled their fate. So in tune with the night, you can feel the minuscule droplets of water in the damp air. They are so tiny, they can't be seen by the naked eye, yet they are felt, leaving the slightest taste of salt on your lips. You approach the rows of tulips, opting to walk down a middle pathway until you are in the heart of the garden. A week later, you would have missed this splendor. The combined moment of the full moon meeting the tulips at their peak. Bathed in ethereal, pearly moonlight, the thick, waxy petals take on a magical quality. Their colors intensify as dewdrops become iridescent. Reds appear deeper, yellows become golden, and purples are as rich as the night sky. The palette of tulips goes well beyond basic colors. Reds range from raspberry to cherry to crimson and tomato red. Purples are a gradient from lavender, silver, to eggplant and purple black. Some tulips showcase more than one hue. Fuchsia with cotton candy pink edges, butter yellow petals with streaks of cardinal red. You could get lost in the beauty of a single bloom, but collectively, the royal carpet of tulips that unfold around you feels like being in the center of a floral kaleidoscope. As you stand beneath the expanse of the lush velour indigo sky, surrounded by the arresting beauty of Zilverhaven's tulip fields, your heart swells with appreciation for this abundant and beautiful planet, as well as for the dedicated souls in the Netherlands who have honored her throughout time. Amidst the beauty of the tulips, it's easy to understand why Holland is the greatest exporter of flowers in the world. The swirling bands of colorful tulips wind around the landscape like a rainbow river weaving its way through a field. In this timeless and effortless moment, surrounded by all these colors and the twinkling stars above, You feel a profound sense of connection to the land and its storied past. A connection that transcends time and speaks to the enduring spirit of resilience and ingenuity that defines the Dutch landscape. You inhale deeply, wishing to stay in this moment a bit more. But ultimately, the chill in the air motivates you to move on. You follow the center path through the tulips as it bends towards the entrance of the Windmill Cottage. You step off the path onto a lawn of dewy emerald grass that cushions each step you take towards the charming dwelling. Before you, the Windmill Cottage stands tall and proud, its grand silhouette etched against the night sky. Moonlight filters through the sails, creating a lattice-like pattern of shadows on the grass. The aged wood of its exterior is as rough and weathered as a wooden ship that has sailed the globe many times. Each time-worn plank implores you to wonder about nautical adventures and seaside communities. The sails, though still throughout the day, readily catch the whispering winds and slowly spin, delivering a promising and soothing song for slumber. Ivy slithers up the stone base, its waxy green leaves becoming otherworldly in the lunar glow before wrapping around the facade to blend into the shadows. The windows, small and inviting, glow with a warm golden light that offers the allure of a night spent indoors fireside. Although the sails are on the other side, the circular tower allows you to see them gracefully turning through the windows, slicing through the moonlight and ambient glow pouring out of the cottage. A placard hangs next to the entrance, and in brass lettering reads, "Established 1874. Just after the windmill was converted into a cottage at the turn of the 20th century, and long before it became a holiday retreat. It was passed down through the hands of Dutch artists and poets. The Windmill Cottage was thought to be enchanted, a muse that freed creative blocks to help its inhabitants become their most prolific and inspired. Van Gogh once said, "I dream my paintings, and then I paint my dreams." The Windmill Cottage has a revered history of being a dream catcher, and for over a century, guests have left handwritten passages in a guest book detailing their dreams. The book is as large as a monastic illuminated manuscript, and a part of you wonders what dreams may come to you on this special night. As you step closer, you hear the gentle creaking of the windmill structure. You place your hand on the cool brass handles of the double doors. The hand-carved doors reveal their craftsmanship with wrought iron hinges and weathered oak, and open with a soft, welcoming groan. You step into the abode, made unique by its round design and exposed brick walls that feature the patina of time. Edison bulbs and wall sconces illuminate oil paintings depicting fields of tulips at night, and quaint Dutch villages with windmills and colorful wooden homes with gabled roofs. Flames lick the stone walls of the fireplace that stands between a quaint kitchen and the living room. The ceilings of the main room rise high above, showcasing exposed wooden beams that crisscross and are the color of espresso beans. They taper down along the edges to create intimate bedroom nooks tucked under the eaves and reminiscent of tree hollows. A small library, nestled against one wall, offers a haven for the many cool, rainy days of winter, where literary masterpieces provide an escape from the gloomiest times. A winding wooden staircase rises along the wall of windows that look out on the rotating sails to the second-floor bedroom loft, where large wooden gears make up the ceiling. For decades, the loft space was an artist's lair, as painters, sculptors, musicians, and writers took residency in the space, with its large windows looking out on the pastoral beauty of Zilverhaven. Moonlight filters through the windows, adding cool, luminous tones to the amber glow of the fire. The windows are cracked ever so slightly to allow a constant circulation of fresh night air. The kitchen, though compact, exudes a quaint charm with its antique stove and freshly painted ivory wooden cabinets. Tiny hand-painted tulip designs add pops of color to the cabinet doors. Throughout the cottage, fresh tulips overflow from Delft blue and white porcelain vases. But the most interesting vase sits above the kitchen sink and features tubular structures like a bagpipe that cradle individual blooms with care. The tulips in shades ranging from bold pink and scarlet to periwinkle, pale yellow and white, create a striking contrast against the iconic Dutch porcelain's delicate patterns. The floral accents enhance the charm and soften the space with a feminine touch. The smell of burning logs, dewy night air, fresh-cut tulips, and old wood create an olfactory symphony that brings a homey essence. You walk to the fireplace and stoke the logs, watching sparks fly up the flue, imagining them swept away by the wind and taking flight above the windmill sails. A window seat with a plush turquoise velvet cushion and an array of throw pillows beckons to you. You settle in it, hugging a pillow to your chest as you peer out onto the moonlit landscape and take in the beautiful night one final time. Sleepiness washes over you like the waves of an incoming high tide, not kept away by dikes or canals. It will soon embrace you completely. And so you allow yourself a yawn or two, with your forehead leaning against the glass, giving yourself the chance to wish on a star. For if ever there were a night of stars meant for dreams, this would definitely be one of them. You slowly ease into the motions, preparing for bed, and walk into the cave-like bathroom. Stone walls curve gently around you as you enter the intimate and comfortable space. In one corner is a shower surrounded by aquamarine glass walls. A shower head is artfully arranged amidst stones, and as you turn on the faucet, water flows like a waterfall, cascading over a cliff. You wait for the water to heat until steam envelops the room and disrobe. As you step beneath the shower's perfect pressure, you reach for an evergreen bar of soap and the built-in stone soap caddy. The botanical fragrance of this local handcrafted forest soap envelops you, filling the air with cedarwood, eucalyptus, and rosemary. The soap lathers into a rich foam, cleansing your skin and filling the air with its purifying scent. The aroma is as invigorating as the fresh breeze that filters through a round stained glass window above the shower head, where moonlight pours through, casting colorful patterns across the stone walls. Amidst the soothing sound of water cascading and the faint hum of the windmill outside, you find yourself lulled into a tranquil state of mind. The rhythmic whirl of the windmill sails adds to the symphony of nocturnal sounds with its easy, soporific drone. Your muscles release, so soft and flexible as your eyes become heavy. You tilt your head toward the shower head, feeling the water massage your forehead before rolling over your scalp and the crown of your head. Everything about this moment feels supportive and relaxing. After luxuriating in the shower, you remove a freshly laundered towel from a cedar chest, inhaling the aromatic blend of cedar wood and fresh linen. You change into a silky robe that hangs on a hook and cinch the belt around your waist. Circulating air penetrates the delicate fabric, creating a cool sensation on the slight trace of water that remains on your skin. The coolness of the air will assuredly lead to a great temperature for sleep. You wander through the cottage, turning off lights and putting out the fire. Of the 2 bedrooms and loft in the dwelling, upon check-in, you are drawn to the most secluded bedroom, tucked away among the eaves. The room welcomes you with its cozy atmosphere, featuring a bed beneath the slanted ceiling with protective wooden beams along each side, adorned with a patchwork quilt and a mountain of pillows. The bed evokes the feeling of spending the night at a beloved grandmother's house. On the wall opposite the bed is a rocking chair before an oval window that frames a peaceful view of the moonlit fields. The light of the full moon guides you as you approach your luggage, perched atop a built-in rustic wooden shelf, and carefully retrieve your soft pajamas. As you change into your sleepwear, the windmill sails whisper in the breeze outside, creating an ideal backdrop, calming your senses and grounding you in this present dreamy moment. Hunkering down in this den-like space, you feel embraced by the cozy ambiance of the cottage. The rarity of this stay has you longing to absorb every detail. You slowly walk to the bed, and the wooden beams around it create a cradle-like experience. You peel back the heavy quilt and crisp sheets and climb atop the supportive mattress, letting out a sigh. The mattress cradles you with its gentle firmness, offering a sanctuary of rest one might come to expect in a village named Zilverhaven. As you lie beneath the covers, the constant murmurs of the windmill sails bring a rhythmic cadence and somnolent white noise. Each breath you take seems to sync with the gentle motion of the sails, guiding you toward a state of deep relaxation and inner peace. In this moment, surrounded by the timeless beauty of the Dutch countryside, you feel a profound sense of contentment as well as exhaustion. Even after you close your eyes, the moonlit landscape and its colorful bands of tulips and sheep grazing in Kelly green pastures play out before you. The region delivers a bone-deep peace that easily ushers you into a night of deep sleep. The harmony of nature and the Windmill Cottage create an oasis of serenity and renewal that you have sought and so very much deserve. And so you welcome the reward of sleep, full of wonder and appreciation for all that will unfold as you dream throughout the night, finding comfort, finding bliss, finding sleep. It's time to dream away.